Hello everyone, I hope that you are doing well. So without wasting any time, let's move to the newspaper. First we will identify the important news and then we'll move on to the analysis section. So this is Wednesday, April 6, 2022, The Hindu, Delhi edition. So let us identify the most important news with respect to our examination. Okay, let Dam Committee continue for a year. Center presents before Supreme Court. Okay, this is related to Mulla Periyar Dam. It is still in news. It is again in news. We'll just have a look over it. Not very important. Gotabaya government loses majority in parliament over 40 MPs of Sri Lanka ruling alliance sit separately. Fine. Just know this. There is uncertainty in Sri Lanka due to economic crisis over there, right? DU new admission policy launches for okay, no, not needed. ED attaches property of Sena MP's wife. Yes, okay, not needed. Pakistan SEC details of no trust process. Not required. IB Ministry blocks 22 YouTube new channels. Okay, we have to see why has been this done. Fine. One news is there. Now let's see. Rajya Sabha passes bill on Delhi Municipal Corporation. Not needed. Muslim come to aid of terrified Kashmiri Pandit. Attack on Sham. Not needed. This is okay. There is nothing here. Respond to plea seeking information on e-surveillance. Tuesday asked Center to respond. Petition in High Court challenges an order issued by CIC. I don't think it will be very important. Let's see. We'll give it a read. There is nothing here. Okay. Now let's move to third page. Nothing here. No, it is not important. BJP. No. Okay, we'll see. Ex-advisor of SSC. Just a brief read. Not very important from examination point of view. But okay. Telangana cabinet to protest in national capital. Not required. Okay, we have to see what is this high decibel prayers. Maybe it may be related to namaz issue, that is azan issue that was that recently rose out. We'll see, because it will be there until elections are there in the country. Every now and then they will say something or anything. Strengthen secularism, save the republic. India as a nation can survive only as a secular state where there is no religion, where state has no religion and does not promote any religion. Let's see. Maybe to some extent we can get an example, one or two from here. We'll just give it a very brief read. I don't think it will be very important per se. Former Secretary General Lok Sabha, we'll see. Okay, and at crossroads, Sri Lanka economy recovery will have to political change. Look, economy is the guardian of polity. Since there is economic crisis, there will be a political crisis. There is nothing to the CUET mandate warrants caution implementation. Okay, we'll give it a read as well, very briefly, because again this is broadly related to education, higher education policies. So we'll just give it a read and see if we can get one or two points. In middle, Ukraine war, India must fulfill its responsibility. This is not required at all now. Pursuing not required. Making sports accessible to all. Yes. Avni Lekhara, she is a very important person. She has given us a gold and a bronze in Paralympics, right? So we'll just have a read over it, because it may give us some points related to the Divyang issues, right? And there is a project is not needed. Text and context, the recombinant virus of SARS. We'll just give a read to recombinant. We already know. We have seen lots of articles on this. Okay. The India Antarctic bill and its various provisions. Okay, we'll give it a read because it is related to a bill and provisions. Okay, no quota without quantifiable data. Okay, fine, we'll give it a read as well. I think it would give us a brief overview, a brief background for those things. Okay. As usual, Supreme Court to soon take up case against Paul bond schemes. What is this Paul bond scheme? Is it electoral bond or what? We'll see. Bill on revamping CA Institute cleared, not needed. Plea against Gender Ban in Succession Act. Okay, bill in Lok Sabha to ban WMD funding. We'll see. Okay, actor in assault case moved to not required. That same case now. Yes, another ex-minister likely to be evicted. Congress situation grave. Resilient post on test Sonia not required. Fuel hike to tweet by Ahmed Patel sons create flood, not required. Protect asset of COVID orphans. Supreme Court. The properties could be provided. These property could provide economic support to continue education and fulfill basic. Okay, NCPCR has said this. This is only important. This can be used as a line in our answer, as a point in our answer. Position on climate finance. Okay, this is we have to read, because the climate MOFCC minister has said this, something we have to see what is his viewpoint. A bilateral deal invoice says that through Russia, though Russia was part of its development, its sale and transaction between, it is a transaction between two countries. Okay, fine. Nursery Council flares down lesson textbook lists merits of illegal practices. What is this? Okay, I now understand. No, not required. No extension of MBBS internship not required. ISRO to send a team to probe object that fell from sky. A flaming meteor-like object was sighted in Maharashtra. EU allies expel over 200 Russian. And they will keep on doing. India condemns Bucha killings. Call for an independent inquiry. We'll see what it is. India shouldn't raise Russian purchases. Now they will again give us this thing. You yourself buy things, and when we buy things, then we should not raise. What is it? Still, you see, there is a change in the stance. They were initially saying that India should not buy. Now they are saying that India should not raise its purchases. Okay, so there is a change in stance of US as well. Germany shut down Russia darknet marketplace Hydra. Not required. France to set probe 3 not required. North Korea threatened to nuke South if provoked. This is a ongoing issue. Okay. West Africa faces worst food crisis in a decade. We have to say this because recently, last year only, if we had got a prize for food for alleviating food crisis in Africa, then why it again rose this year? We have to see. Okay, there is nothing here. Photovoltaics to witness moderator is not required. Not required. You know who is Sodi? He's related to Amul. Okay, the chairman, I think. CMD, his MD. Okay, na. Twitter name to name must to forms were not required. Okay, on the sports page, I don't find any news like that. No. Milan Baines. No. Okay, fine. So we have identified most of the important news with respect to our examination. So it's analysis time now. Let's move on to the analysis. So we see here one news. IB Ministry blocks 22 YouTube news channel. Let's see. 4 of them were run from Pakistan. Okay, information warfare kind of thing it is appearing. Let's see what it has written. The Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has ordered blocking of 22 YouTube based news channels, 4 of which were run by Pakistan and rest from India under IT Rules 21. These channels had a cumulative viewership of about 262 crores and were being used to spread fake news as usual on sensitive issues relating to national security and foreign relations. Fine, Mr. Sarkut said that some of them were spreading misinformation on Ukraine, Russia conflict, COVID-19 and other issues that were directly impacting India. Okay, directly. So this is a keyword, directly impacting India. While all the previously blocked 56 YouTube channels were from Pakistan, the latest list comprises of 18 from India. This is the first time action has been taken against Indian YouTube news publisher since a notification of IT rules. 3 Twitter accounts have blocked YouTube channels, a news website and a Facebook account being operated from Pakistan has been blocked. Okay, so what is the stance of government, or what the government says, that it is spreading fake news? Okay, and that will cause what? That will cause loss of peace and tranquility in India. It will lead to public outrage kind of things, right? And it will directly impact India. Okay, so therefore they need to be blocked, and they are blocked. Okay, fine. This is the government stance. We wait for some time and see what the intellectuals have to say on this, and then I'll give my opinion on it. Okay, so wait for some time. I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow news will come. Editorials regarding that will come. Okay, response to the plea seeking information on e-surveillance. What is this? It is related to CIC. Okay, the Delhi High Court on Tuesday asked Center to respond to a petition concerning disclosure of statistical information on state information electronic surveillance under RTI. Okay, and disclose the statistical information on RTI. Okay, Apar Gupta challenging a CIC order which accepted the claim of authority that data south has been destroyed and accordingly does not exist. And this disclosure of statistical information on state-sponsored electronic surveillance under the senior advocate as the fruits of interception may be destroyed, but the fact that interception was done will survive. Okay, so interception as a act is not accepted. Okay, in absence of any counsel, Mr. Gupta, the founder of Internet Freedom Foundation, in December filed 6 application under RTI Act. Okay, fine. Nothing much. Just is a news. Keep an eye on it. It will. I think it can grow in coming time because it is related to right to information. Okay, we'll just keep a look over it and see how it manifests or unfolds. Right. Okay. High decibel player come under scanner. Let's see. Police have started issuing notice to religious places defying Karnataka High Court order on noise pollution in wake of, okay, it is related to Karnataka and not Maharashtra, fine. Wake of the campaign against Ajahn by Hindutva activist Bengaluru City Police Kamal Kant has instructed police to take action against violators. Several mics have been seized in the past from religious places for defying court order. The drive to monitor decibel level will continue now and action will be taken against. Okay. Now let's see. We'll see the editorial and explained pages last. Let's see the news first, and then we'll do it one by one. There is this news: SC to soon take up case against Paul bond scheme. It seems that it is related to more or less electoral bond only. Chief Justice N.V. Ramana told Advocate Prashant Bhushan that the court has wanted to take up the long pending challenges against government electoral bond scheme. Oh yes, I was correct. But COVID-19 pandemic played a spoil sport. Okay. Unlimited donation. The Electoral Bond Scheme, an amendment in its Finance Act of 2017, allows for unlimited donations from individual and foreign companies or political parties without any record of source funding. Okay, so what is the problem? Unlimited donation from individuals and foreign companies, so foreign power can interfere or to political party without any record of source of funding. So there is no record of source of funding. Okay. The exchange between Chief Justice of India and lawyer happened when the latter made an oral mentioning of earlier listing of the case of hearing. Let us see, we will take up the matter. Chief Justice said, transparency in fund. The government has, however, justified the scheme, saying it will promote transparency. What is the stance of government? Promote transparency in funding and donation received by political party. It has defended the scheme as a measure to eradicate black money in political funding. The bonds can be encashed only by eligible political party only through their bank account with the authorized bank. The bond do not have name of donor or receiving political party and only carries a unique hidden alphanumeric serial number as a built-in security feature. Okay, so this is important. The bond do not have name of the donor or receive political party or receiving political party. So bond will have no name of donor and the name of the party which will receive this the amount promised in the bond, and only carries a unique hidden alphanumeric serial number. So there is a alphanumeric serial number which is unique and which is hidden and it is why it is a built-in security feature. So this is important. Okay, the government's 21 phase affidavit said the government has described the scheme as an electoral reform. Okay, according to government, it is a electoral reform in country moving towards a cashless digital economy. Fair enough. Anonymity legalized. However, the Election Commission of India filed an affidavit in 2019 saying government scheme for political funding has legalized anonymity. Who has said that? Election Commission of India filed an affidavit in 2019. Okay, so according to Election Commission of India's affidavit in 2019, it has legally legalized anonymity. Electoral bond protect the identity of political donor, and parties receiving the contributions. Okay, to protect the identity. Donors who can contribute less than 20,000 to political parties to purchase of electoral bond need not to provide their identity details such as PAN. So less than 20,000, no PAN needed. Okay. Ban on bill in Lok Sabha to ban WMD funding. So weapons of mass destruction funding, they will be banning it. Okay. Provision to freeze financial asset. Mr. Jaishankar on Tuesday introduced a bill in Lok Sabha that seeks to ban funding of weapon of mass destruction and empower the center to freeze and seize financial asset of people involved in such activities. Fine. Amid the sloganeering by opposition member over the repeated fuel price hikes, Mr. Jaishankar introduced the weapon of mass destruction and their delivery system prohibition. Weapons of mass destruction and their delivery system prohibition of unlawful activity amendment bill, which also fulfills India international obligation pertaining weapons of mass destruction. So this will also fulfill what? India's obligation regarding what? Regarding pertaining of mass regarding weapons pertaining to mass destructions. Right, earlier there was a 2005 law, and that only banned their manufacturing. So earlier law did what? Only banned their manufacturing. The minister said that the United Nations Security Council targeted financial sanctions, and the recommendations of Financial Action Task Force have mandated against financing of proliferation of weapon. Okay, mandated against financing of proliferation of weapons of mass destruction and the delivery system. The bill seeks to insert a new section 12A in the existing law, which states that no person shall finance any activity which is prohibited under this act or under the United Nations Act 1947 or under any other relevant act for the time being in force, or by a order issued under such act in relation to weapons of mass destruction and their delivery system. So this is related to what? Weapons of mass destruction and their delivery system. The bill will give government power to freeze, seize or attached fund and other financial asset of economic resources owned by the controlled only or jointly, directly or indirectly by such person, held by on behalf of at direction of such person, or derived from or generated from the funds or asset owned by or controlled directly or indirectly by such person. So economic freezing is also given. This power will also be taken up by the government, right? It is a good bill. We have our international obligation. This would obviously help us to move further as a Vishwaguru. And as far as this is concerned, well, let's see how the news unfolds, because in last 1 year there hasn't been a hearing regarding the electoral bond scheme, right? Okay, now let's see what else is on the table. Is there anything on this page? I don't think there was. Yes, let's see this first. IPCC report in sources India position on climate finance. Okay, climate change is a global action plan, says Mr. Bhupender Yadav. Monday, a report by IPCC endorses India position on need to scale up, scope and speed the climate financing. Okay, scale, scope and speed. 3S: scale, scope, speed. Limiting global warming would require major transition in energy sector and would mean drastic reduction of fossil fuel use, widespread electrification, improved energy efficiency and use of alternative fuels. Okay, so limiting global warming will require major transition in energy sector and would mean drastically reduction in fossil fuel, widespread electrification, improved energy efficiency and use of alternative fuels. Okay, so this is what has been this is correct. So this is one of the many of the steps that need to be required to limit the global warming. India firmly believes that climate change is a global collective action problem and that can be solved only through international cooperation. Okay, India believes that it is a global collective action problem and can be solved through international cooperation and multilateralism. India will continue to be in the voice of ambition as well as champion of equality on behalf of developing countries. Okay, IPCC report focused on mitigation or what could be done to reduce emissions. Okay, then we see here close to 80% of total carbon budget for ensuring temperature did not exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius and 66% of carbon budget for preventing overshoot of 2 degrees Celsius. Half of the global population, the vast majority of the developing world was responsible only for 14%. So half of the global population is responsible only for 14% of global emission. India believes that utilization of resources must be made on mindful and deliberate utilization and not mindless and destructive consumption. Okay, this is just a reiteration of IPCC, what IPCC has said some days ago, right? And there's one more, this article: protect asset of COVID orphan children. Use this line only, there's nothing much. Protect asset of COVID orphan children. Okay, these properties could provide economic support to continue education, fulfill basic needs. Just use this line, there's nothing much here. Okay, fine. So let's move further. Let's see what else is on the cards. Nothing here. Okay, India condemns Bucha killings, call for an independent inquiry. At UNSC, Indian envoy seeks safe passage for aid supply. India condemned killing of civilian in Bucha, Ukraine at UNSC on Monday, calling it independent inquiry. Speaking at UNSC meeting convened by the month's council president, the UK, India's permanent representative to UN, T.S. Tirumurthy, called the report out of Bucha deeply disturbing and said India is unequivocally condemned the killing but did not blame Russia for civilian death. Several other UNSC members also called for an inquiry into killings in Kiev suburb, where bodies were found after the withdrawal of Russian forces. Some were hands tied behind their back and appeared to have been shot from a close distance. Recent reports of civilian killing at Bucha are deeply disturbing. We unequivocally condemn this killing and support the call for the independent investigation. Zelensky slams Moscow. Earlier the morning at the same, Ukraine President Zelensky, who joined the group video conferencing, expressed outrage for killing in Bucha, for which he has held Russia responsible. He also played a video with gruesome image of corpses of men, women and children, some barely clothed, some burned. Russia has denied that it carried out what happened to be execution-style killing, alleging that bodies were left in the area after the forces withdraw. Satellite images analyzed by New York Times, however, suggest that many of the bodies have been in the area for weeks while Russians were in control. At Tuesday meeting, Mr. Tirumurti also called for guarantees for safe passage of humanitarian and medical supplies and said that Russia-Ukraine conflict has caused increase in food and energy costs, particularly being felt by developing countries. Yes, this is correct. We are feeling the burn of it. Diplomacy must prevail without naming Russia. Mr. Tirumurti said that international order was based on respect for sovereignty of states and their territorial integrity as well as international law and UN Charter. When innocent human lives are at stake, diplomacy must prevail as only viable option. Okay. Mr. Tirumurti said, adding that India has taken note of recent talk between Russia and Ukraine side. Fine. We are done with this news also. So yes, this is very disturbing that people are killed in that style. Okay, but still it is a New York Times that shows things. It may be true, it may be false, because Russia and US are at loggerhead right now, so we cannot believe on any one of them, because in US it is the war that is a big business. Okay, as far as the things are concerned, this killing, it is very disturbing. It should not have been there like this, but we have to see how it unfolds. On humanitarian level, it is the bane to the society, but again we have to see that is it Russia actually responsible for it. Independent inquiry should be warranted. If it is, then we should take some steps. If it is not, then steps should definitely be taken against the one who has done this thing, because at last human life is lost. Okay, so there was nothing on this page. Okay, fine, and nothing here. So news analysis has been done, and now we move on to what? Editorial and context page analysis. Fine. Strengthen secularism, save the republic. India as a nation can only survive as a secular state where the state has no religion and does not promote any religion. It's a good line. We can use it in concept in the GS1 as well as GS2. Two where it can be used. GS1 society secularism, GS2 social justice part or secularism section there. Fine. Let's see it very briefly, because I think that it would be related more or less to it will take over history and all those things. That would just make it long enough, but these things are actually static, covered in our statics. Okay, not been able to say, okay, again hijab issue, it is, oh my god, I don't have to read this. The judgment in High Court is very technical. It almost reads like a petition and betrays the excessive eagerness to disprove the other side. Fine. Political dimensions will fester. The issue of hijab politics as well as constitutional. Okay, is political as well as constitutional. The top court will examine the constitutional aspect. With its judgment will be hopefully settle the issue, but the political dimension of hijab issue will continue to trouble Indian society for long. No great research is needed to unearth the fact that seemingly sudden eruption of the issue reflects insidious intolerance, which is quite uncharacteristic of the majority religious community. As a matter of the fact, Hindu and Sikh women in North India cover their head on all important occasions such as marriage, funeral, religious ceremonies, etc. It is measure of the transformation that has taken place in Indian society that piece of cloth is enough to serve the provocation for people to come out into the street and fight against each other. In such environment of intolerance, the claims of traditional tolerance, pluralism, Catholicity, etc. seems like a bad joke. Again, look, he's such a senior person, and what he's saying that as a matter of fact, Hindu and Sikh women in Northern India cover their heads all important occasions such as marriage, funeral, religious ceremonies, etc. It is true. There's nothing wrong in it. There's nothing false in this fact. But the question in hijab row is what? The question is that are the students allowed to wear hijab in the premises of the PU, in the premises of the college, educational institution or not? Right? It is not that are they allowed to wear hijab or not. they can wear hijab, it is their right, they can wear hijab outside school as per the court's order, right? And as far as this argument is concerned, that Hindu and Sikh women in Northeast India cover their head on all important occasions. It is not that they go on to cover their heads or do ghungat in schools or in colleges or some other places of some other qualified institutions of that nature, right? They can cover their head in temples or say in funeral, in religious ceremony, etc. Yes, it's the part in Hindu culture also, or in Sikh culture also they wear turban. But in Sikh culture, turban is worn every time, from in every place they wear. It's not that they wear it only for certain time and then they don't wear it. It is not a choice, it is an obligation of the religion there. But in hijab case, what is the problem? The problem is that the court has said not to wear it inside school. The court has never said not to wear it, just not to wear it, right? So this argument of author itself shows that shows a kind of immaturity. Although he is the former Secretary General of Lok Sabha, but at this point I don't agree with him. It's fine. I have my rights to not agree with anyone. Okay. So, and to me it seems childish that what he is saying regarding and comparing the two unequals. He should compare equals. Why he should compare unequals? And never has the court said that the wearing of hijab is banned. It is saying that wearing of hijab in qualified institutions is banned. Okay, fine. Let's see more of it. It's just my viewpoint. You can have your own. I respect that. But the thing is that I'll say what I feel. Okay. A moral framework. But the fact is that India does not have such a past where people from other parts of the world were welcomed with open arms and allowed to live here in peace and amid amity for millennia. Okay. Pro say listing religion did gain some following here, but they never posed any serious challenge to the majority religion. Look the words he is using. Majority. Okay. Fine. Let's move forward. Let's see. Because look, if he is using it for Islam and Hinduism, majority and minority, then let me make it clear that Islam cannot be considered minority in India right now. Fine. Although in laws it is considered, but as far as my opinion is concerned, it has a sizable population now, and it cannot be considered just a minority. It is the second largest majority in India. Okay. So the challenge is not between minority and majority. The challenge is between, as per his viewpoint, not my viewpoint. I'm just giving it a other perspective. The challenge is not between majority and minority. The challenge is between the majority and the second largest majority, right? And let's move forward. A tolerance of other faith and compassion towards fellow being become integral part of Indian tradition because of Buddha and Mahavir and Sufi movement and Bhakti movement. Where are these? He gave India the moral framework within which to shape our exchanges with fellow human beings. The transformation. No. He's again misguiding the youth. Look, Buddha never said these things. He believed only in one thing, that is Gyan Marg, right? The thing he is referring is of Dharma, and Dharma was given by whom? The concept of Dharma was given by Ashoka, right? So it is not Buddha. He should have better written Ashoka, that he gave the moral framework within which to shape our exchanges with fellow human beings. The transformation which is being brought about today is clearly outside the moral framework. Okay, outside that moral framework. Fine. Buddha bequeathed to us great wisdom. Yes, he has given great wisdom, which is being frittered away with a vengeance. Okay, it's his viewpoint. It's nothing wrong in this. Although I don't see eye to eye with this, but it's okay. The Constitution of India adopted the moral framework for governance of India. Okay, that moral framework. Fine. Equality, justice, and fraternity are as much a part of the great Buddhist tradition as the modern European Renaissance. Is it? Let's see. Let us analyze this first. Equality, okay, but equality of men only. Fine. Buddha himself was not in a favor of getting females into the Sangha, because he believed that Sangha that would exist for say about 4,000 years after him will just collapse in 400 years if there is entry of women. Fine. So then again there was a division in Buddhism also, like Mahayana and Hinayan thing, and then Vajrayana part reappeared. So equality of what? Equality of male, yes, true. Equality of male and female, no, not true. Fine. And justice, yes. As far as justice is concerned, yes, Buddha gave the concept of justice. I agree with it. And fraternity, yes, Sangha in more or less can be considered as a fraternal organization, right? So equality is a contested thing here, but other things I do agree with him. Fine, modern European, and he says that it is a part of the great Buddhist tradition as of the modern European Renaissance. Yes, modern Renaissance also brought about equality, justice and fraternity, but it was not modern European Renaissance per se. It was the French Revolution that gave us these things, right? And European Renaissance brought what? It brought scienticism to the front, okay? It is a fact, it is in the fact, the good fortune of India and perhaps historical inavailability that leaders such as Jawaharlal Nehru and B.R. Ambedkar were there to give shape to the ideas of modern nation, rooted essentially in modern tradition of Buddhism and assimilating the egalitarian impulses from the modern world. Yes, it is true that people like Jawaharlal Nehru, who had written the history of India in jail, look how brilliant this person was, that he had written such a thing in while he was in jail, right? And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, look the brilliance of this person, that he went on to become the law minister of India, right? And yes, it is true that they gave shape to the modern Indian tradition, our constitution. Thus, Indian constitution provides for freedom of religion. True, Indian constitution do provides for freedom of religion and consciousness on one hand, and secularism for the governance of the country on the other. Means the people has freedom of religion and consciousness, Article 25 to 28, and there is a secularism also in India, where government do not have a religion, as well as government do not support means not supports, actually over support, what we say, promote, not support, promote any religion over other. Many in this country passionately argue that secularism in India means that a state has equal respect for all religion. Okay, so there is a viewpoint that many in the country argue that secularism in India means that a state has equal respect for all religion. This mistaken emphasis leads rulers to attend religious ceremonies, donning religious specific dresses and performing rituals publicly. This is more political grandstanding than genuine demonstration of it. Look, again, this is just like accusing someone that, oh, you are doing this because you want to do politics. Well, he might be doing it because he genuinely feels something. There is nothing wrong in it. If the person, Mr. actually feels that, Mr. PDT actually feels that, okay, this hijab judgment is not very contextual as far as Indian constitution is concerned, it's his viewpoint. I may feel the different. So it is also the same thing here, that if a person attires like any specific community specific thing or a religion specific thing, or performs ritual publicly that is related to religion, it may be because of his will to do that. At last, he is also an individual, a citizen of India. He has got his rights, right? So saying this that directly that it is more of political grandstanding than a genuine demonstration of it will be a bit harsh. We should not say like this. Okay, it should be on both sides, right? A separation. So there are many points. I knew that I'll not see eye to eye with the author in this, but still it is his viewpoint and I must know the other side also. That is the actual context of Dharma, that you must have the concept of sar vriddhi. You must increase the essence of your knowledge, right? And this is what he talks in this paragraph. He says that it was given by Buddha, maybe, but the thing was developed by Ashoka, right? Maybe Buddha has given it in some sermon. I am not very aware of it, but yes, I am aware of the fact that Dhamma was given by Ashoka, and the main thing that separated Dhamma from Dharma was the sar vriddhi aspect, right? It is a model code of conduct. It is the ethical code of conduct, Dhamma, a separation. But the point being made here is under the Indian Constitution too. There is a separation of religion from state as in Europe. Okay, is it? Let's see. Let's move further. In fact, this separation was a major inflection point in history of Renaissance and Europe. The essence of Indian secularism is that the state has no religion. Yes, this is the correct thing. So, state has no religion. This is clear from Article 27 and 28 of the Constitution. Correct. 27 says that no tax can be levied for promoting any particular religion. In other words, no public revenue is permitted to be spent in favor of any particular religion. No. How these two things are same? Article 27 says that no tax can be levied for promoting any public religion. Fine, but it is not. It should not be. I think, in my opinion, that it should not. These two lines should not be equated to one another. Public revenue, maybe if he is considering tax as a public revenue, then okay. In other words, no public revenue is permitted to be spent in favor of any particular religion. Okay, fine. Article 21 says that no religious instruction shall be given in any educational institution wholly maintained out of state funds. Fair enough. Maybe. Article 28 says that no religious instruction shall be given in any educational institution wholly maintained. Yes, it is true. The same article says that no educational institution recognized or aided by a state shall compel any person to attend religious classes or worship therein. This is also true. Article 25 2A empowers the state to regulate secular activities associated with religious practices. It is also true. Article 15 prohibits any kind of discrimination on the grounds of religion. Again, this is misguiding. Look, This is not only religion, this is RRCSP, religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth only, right? So only on these grounds you cannot discriminate, but with these grounds plus some other thing you can discriminate. Means what? Means religion plus morality, okay, or say peace. This can become a ground for this thing, right? For discrimination. So it is again a bit misguiding. Look, he is a former Secretary General. I'm what I say. I don't want to go against him because he has held such a high post. Okay, Secretary General is a very high post in Lok Sabha, right? And still, it seems some biasness. It shows some biasness. I don't know why such a person is showing so much biasness towards a particular issue. It seems that he's trying to justify things that okay, this is it, that this is saying that, so my viewpoint is right, but he should have done it more in a more better way. Okay, let's see. Above all, freedom of religion is made subject to other fundamental rights. Yes, apart from reasonable restrictions on ground of public order, morality and health. Thus, the freedom of religion under the Constitution does not enjoy the same status as other secular rights such as equality before law, non-discrimination, right to life, etc. Okay, and yes, this is true. It is clear from above that secularism enshrined in Indian Constitution is based on principle that the state has no religion. It is clear from the above that secularism enshrined in Indian Constitution is based on principles that the state has no religion, right? The Indian state is organized on the foundational principle, okay. In Indira Nehru Gandhi versus Sri Raj Narayan and another ANR, the Supreme Court of India reaffirmed the principle, okay. The court said the state shall have no religion of its own, and it is correct. The state should not have a religion of its own. Religiosity in public life. Why this principle is there in India? This is just because India has a very vast geography, and to assimilate and geography is responsible for culture, so there will be a vast difference of culture, and to assimilate such a culture, a state cannot have a culture of its own. It has to be assimilative of all the cultures. So it means that it should not have a culture of its own. Look, in India the term religion is often confused with culture. Religion has a philosophical background and culture has a geographical background. These two things are different, right? Religiosity in public life. Let's see. There is too much religiosity in public life in India. So we have conveniently changed the meaning of secularism into Sarva Dharma Sadbhav. Okay. Too much religiosity in public life. Fair enough. So we have conveniently changed the meaning of secularism into Sarva Dharma Sadbhav, which would only lead to the majoritism and ultimately to establishment of theocratic state. So he is saying, now I don't see how Sarva Dharma Sadbhav would lead to majoritarianism and ultimately to establishment of theocratic state. I don't see this. Look, Iran or Saudi Arabia or anything, or any of the country that has a religious head, does it believe in Sarva Dharma Sadbhav? I don't see it. They believe that we are the majority, there is the best, and others are zimmis. They are their responsibilities, and they should therefore pay a kind of tax that was initially known as jizya, right? So this again I don't see eye to eye with it. How the author is arriving to this point, I don't know. We have seen that such a state of mind as Sambhav does not exist in reality in today's India. Maybe he is correct to some extent, maybe he is wrong to some extent. There are people in this country who still believes that everyone is equal, and common citizen in India, as far as I understand, do believe in this Sadbhav. If the economy of a person is not threatened, he or she will not, and the life is not threatened, then he and she will not see that XYZ person of ABC caste is dangerous to ABC caste, ABC religion, PQR country is dangerous to me. And if there is an economic relation, there will be a this Sadbhav kind of thing, right? Theocracy will ensure the disintegration of country, and he goes on to say that this theocracy will ensure the disintegration of country. I don't see how he is saying that that Sarva Dharma Sadbhav will lead to ultimately theocracy. This does not make a sense. Okay, the reasons are not far to seek. Let's see what reason he gives. India is a multi-religious country where the largest minority is around 200 millions. Okay, the government of India has notified as many as 6 minority religions in the country. So a theocratic state with the majority religion as a state religion is unworkable proposition. Again, but state religion is not the majority religion. And why is saying the largest minority being around 200 million is a minority? It should be considered a second majority. Why minority? No. 200 million is a very big population. Okay, another crucial factor which makes a theocratic state impossible in India is complex inegalitarian, hierarchical and oppressive social structure. What is it complex? Yes, our social structure is complex. Inegalitarian, maybe to some extent, maybe to some extent not. There are examples in India also where egalitarianism is seen. Hierarchical, yes, the Indian social structure is hierarchical and oppressive social structure. Now again, this is oppressive. How on which side you are saying it is oppressive? Anyone who has access to knowledge and access to wealth has always oppressed other. This is the common thing in India, right? In India, no, in the world also. So, okay, for the time being, let us consider his viewpoint and see what he wants to say actually. Complex in egalitarian, hierarchical and oppressive social structure of majority religion. A theocratic state functions on basis of religious law, fair enough, which in India means the Dharma Shastra, according to which a particular caste has right to rule and large majority of population will have right to be part of the power structure. So he is talking about Dharma Shastras. Okay, so he is saying that if he is talking in ifs, if India become a theocratic state, that too of Sanatan Dharma, then what will happen? Dharma Shastra will be taken instead of constitution. And if say it becomes a state ruled by the other population, will the same will not apply to them also? So why only Dharma Shastra? It should also have written Sharia there. That should have made the argument complete. Okay, with only particular caste has a right to rule and large majority of the population will have no right to be part of the power structure. Fine. They will have no human rights. Again, yes, it is correct. They will have no human rights if that thing happens, and will be perennial victims of systematic operations and injustice, as we have seen that happen in all the major civilizations of the world, including Indian, including Iranian civilization, the Persian civilization, the Russian civilization, the French civilization. Okay, everywhere this has happened. So it is not only in India, but in the entire world this has happened. Because to pre-constitutional time, it was what? Religion was the constitution. He's just taking us to the pre-constitutional time where religion was the constitution. But let me make this point clear, that in India, constitution is the new religion now, right? And any power that any religion that comes to power should have to abide by the constitution, because constitution has given them the right to serve the people, and it is a constitution that can take the right from them to serve the people. Okay, since a theocratic state is based on religious text, in Indian context it would mean the state which would deny equality before law and equal protection of law to subaltern the class and discriminate against them on basis of caste. It will be inherently unstable. This may lead to perennial conflicts and eventually disintegration of society. It is just I think the author is just trying the weapon of fear mongering, right? I don't see why, if this will happen then that will happen, and with that thing happening then another that will happen. Why? So let's talk in the present context. I'll come to that, don't worry, I'll come to that. The foundational principle. Therefore, we reach an inevitable conclusion that India as a nation can survive only as a secular state, where the state has no religion and does not promote any religion. Yes, it is a measure of thoughtlessness of people that educated Indians speak diversely of secularism and has begun to support the idea of theocratic state based on the majority religion. This is wrong, exactly wrong. Nobody has ever in India, nobody, not a sizable population, have voted only for the working government. It has never voted for any government that is not working and that promotes casteism or that promotes anti-secularism. Example, recent UP election. It seems that any party that said anything again apart from works that they have done has not been brought to power. Their mood is being shaped by the razzmatazz of the religio-political campaigns of today. The wise men who led to the freedom struggle and framed up the constitution had deep understanding of India's multi-religious and multicultural character and also complexity of its social structure. Secularism was chosen as a foundational principle of the republic to keep the nation untied. Enlightened citizens should realize that if secularism is jettisoned, the hard-won national unity will be in peril. It is the patriotic duty of every citizen to strengthen secularism and thus save the republic. This is true. I agree with these things, but the way he is trying to explain this seems that he wants to monger fear in the public, and this is not good. Okay, I'm not against him, I'm just giving my views. He's a very senior person and I respect him, and I don't expect this from him. This is the problem, right? So I thought that it would have been a very good essay, a very good article, but it has not been unto my expectation. This just tried a kind of fear psychosis, fear mongering among the readers, that okay, this happens, then that will happen, and that will lead to another, that and that will lead to another, that will be unfortunate for the country. So he's trying to build up, he's trying to join the points that seems very unnatural and unusual for the country, but in reality India has gone through 70 years of democratic structure, and we are very firm on it, and we have become better and better every day by day, right? So saying this will be just an insult to the people who has framed this wonderful constitution of India. Fine. Okay, the CUET mandate, one is caution implementation. The UGC ought to have taken university into confidence and given due consideration to their concerns. Okay, so I think what this unilateral decision of UGC was there, like a unilateral decision to go for CUET test, right? And then what they say, they should have taken university into confidence, right? So all the stakeholders should have been taken into confidence, and their concern should have been given due consideration. We'll give it a very brief read. Let's see what he wants to say. He's a former advisor to planning commissions. Okay, look, I'm no former something, I'm just a student, right? Or else I would have written against this article. Let's see what can be done. Central universities may have caught awareness when University Grant Commission and all those things are there. This is a brief history. Let's see. Central University apparently have no option but to follow the mandate. Okay, a few that mustered the courage to seek the exemption have been denied this. The idea of academic autonomy and the argument that formalization, uniformity and standardization are often pulled down quality of lowest common denominator and unlikely to impress the odds are stacked against it. Fine. I don't think it will give me any more points. Just know the fact here that stakeholders, holders, concern, important. Okay, don't give it a read. You give it a read if you want. I won't be giving it a read because. Okay, so we go to the next article, making sports accessible for all. Okay, it has been written by Eric Fratt and Avni Lekhra. We know that Avni Lekhra is the first and only women gold medalist in Paralympics, right? So we'll see what she has to say. Making the sport accessible to all. Okay, it is a very good thing. It is in consistency with Sugam Bharat. Okay, challenging the stigma and stereotypes that surround women and persons with disability in sports are crucial. Very important. Yes, it is crucial. And the stigma and stereotypes should be challenged because everybody is equal irrespective of its disabilities. Okay, now let's see. Tokyo Paralympics was a watershed moment in Indian sports. Obviously it was. Paralympic gold medal was won by a female Indian athlete for the first time. This achievement was important symbol of how India has come using sports to foster inclusion. Okay, very important. Sports for inclusion, it is a good point. It also became conversation. It also became conversation started about how Indian women are finally claiming space for themselves in what traditionally seen a male-dominated field. Okay, to build the successes of the Paralympic, it is important to provide more opportunities and enabling environment. Fair enough. We know that sports become inclusive. They have potential to transform not just life by those playing, but also of wider community by increasing values of fair play. Okay, systems and structures have given voice and opportunity to everyone tend to be more stable and peaceful. This is no wonder that sports are at the heart of UN 2030 agenda for sustainable development. In contribution towards the achieving educational health and equality outcome, the sport plays a vital role in furthering UN SNDS, so UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Overcoming barriers, COVID-19 challenge the inclusive legacy of 2020 Paralympics, in turn threatening wider benefits that sport can generate for individuals and communities. As lockdowns and social distancing measures were imposed, fewer people were practicing and benefiting from sports. This intensified physical inactivity and deterioration of mental health. Data from UNESCO's worldwide survey of school physical education show that some 70% of physical education teachers consider their student physical and mental health to have worsened during the pandemic. Okay, with children with disability among the most affected. Yes, this is correct. The children who are disabled are more affected with such pandemic things. The crisis context is backlit by the landscape where already not enough for being done to ensure equal participation for all in sports. Budget allocation for physical education and sports remains low. Obviously, in every school this situation exists, in more or less every school. Social and cultural barriers restrict participation of women and girls in sport. Yes, this is also correct. Social and cultural barriers restricts the participation of women and girls in sport. The women landscape is far more unfavorable for women and girls with disability. The opportunity minimized due to discrimination based on gender and disability. The necessities for need for making such sports accessible and inclusive for all by challenging the stigma and stereotype that surround women and persons with disability in sports. In this respect, sports are creative tool that could be used to reach across divisions to promote inclusion and equality. Inertia is always an easy choice, but it is time that we use sports as an enabler in COVID-19 response to recover strategies. Recovering from the crisis means making communities healthier, okay, stronger and more resilient. Societies will need to prioritize solutions that benefit all people to build back better. Creating an inclusive sporting culture requires effective policies, progressive curriculum focused on quality physical education, and well-equipped, trained and physical education professionals. Okay, three things: fund, function, functionaries. It also requires good coordination among the different organizations and all these things. The Fit for Life flagship initiative. To support the vision, UNESCO launching its Fit for Life flagship initiative in India. Okay, Fit for Life is designed to activate smart investment in impactful sport policies, school curricula, and grassroots participation to scale up effective solutions tackling rising physical inactivity, mental health issues, social exclusion, inequalities. What are the problems? What the solutions will tackle? Rising physical inactivity, mental health issues, social exclusion, and inequalities. In doing so, alongside compulsory outgoing inactivities such as Fit India campaign and Khelo India, it is hoped that there will be greater collaboration for healthier, more inclusive, equitable communities. Since marginalized community, women and persons with disabilities are often ignored in sporting policies and activities, increasing their visibility in all aspects of sports should be considered as an important tool to enhance their participation in sports, promote female role models, and therefore an imperative to strengthen engagement of women and girls in sport. Today we mark the UN International Day for Sports for Development and Peace. We are presented with an opportunity to recognize the role sport played in making our world a better place. Through our effort, we hope to break a stereotype that everyone feels confident to engage and excel in sports. Fair enough. There was nothing much in this. 2-3 points were there. These can be written, although we know these points, but still these can be written. And there is one more, this point, this can be written. Only these two things are important here, right? So let's move on to the next article. There was nothing on this page, and we move on to the next page, that is text and context. Recombinant virus. Let's read the gist first, because we have done it a number of times right till now. Okay, apart from mutation, another process through which virus increases its genetic diversity is recombination. We have already seen virus 1, virus 2 infects the same person. Okay, it also goes in, they all recombine to form a third virus, virus 3. This is the process of recombination. Recombination occurs when two different lineages of the virus co-infect the same cell in the host and exchange fragments of their individual genomes, which generates a descendant variant having mutation that occurred in both the original lineage of the virus. Understood? So same cell acts as the host for the recombinant. There is a little evidence to suggest that recombinant lineage have a varied clinical outcome compared to currently dominant Omicron variant. Okay, there is very little evidence to show that the new recombinant lineage have a varied clinical outcome. Means they have a different clinical outcome. That means different disease pattern or different medicine requirement and all those things, right? Identifying and tracking recombinant lineage for SARS-CoV-2 would require specialized tools and availability of primary data for genome sequencing. So I don't think it is important to read this article. Give it a read if you want. More or less the gist is enough for this. The Indian Antarctica Bill and its various provisions. Let's see the gist first. The Indian Antarctica Bill 2022 introduced in Lok Sabha envisages regulating visits and activities to Antarctic. Okay. It also prescribes penal provision for certain serious violations. India is signatory to Antarctic Treaty, which came in force on 23rd June 1961. Of the 54 signatory countries, 29 have consultative status that gives them voting rights. The treaty party meet each year at Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. India has now established two standing research stations, Antarctica, Bharati and Maitri. Okay, and in Arctic we have Himadri. Okay, the major thrust area of the Indian Antarctic program are climate processes and links to climate change, environment processes, and conservation of polar technology. So these things are there. Give it a read. I don't think there will be many important things in there. Why is the bill necessary? Because we are a signatory to the we have signed the treaty, Antarctic Treaty on June 23, 1961, which make it our obligation to have such kind of law, and now we are ratifying it. Obviously, we are now having a law on it that will make our obligation come true, right? And we have two bases there, Bharati and Maitri. Okay. Now there is one more thing. No quota without quantifiable data. Let us read the gist first. No exhaustive study has been done to collect quantifiable data on representation of communities in education and employment. The state backward class Commission in July 2011 reported to the state government in justification of 69% reservation for backward caste, most backward caste, denotified caste and SC/ST under the 1994 Act. Did not give any community-wise breakup of, okay. Since the APEC had now pointed to the absence of data as reason to annual 10.5% quota law, state government should commission to study compile data on a way to give benefit of reservation to different community. The concept of quota within quota is nothing new to Tamil Nadu. The absence of applicants for creamy layer rule in reservation of state has highlighted the need for internal reservation. So why there is internal reservation? Because of lack of creamy layer concepts. Okay, let me see if I can have that thing here written here. I am trying to find it out. It seems that it should not be done there. Okay, I want to point out the various judgments related to reservations, right? And I don't see the names of the judgment here. Let me just give it a say. Okay, so it has not given the name of all those judgment things, right? From Mandal Commission to Nagaraj judgment, it has not given, right? So just give it a look in your statics part, okay? And there is one thing that I would like to point out. Here it is. Okay, there is one more. No, this is different paragraph. I have seen. Yes, just give it a read to 16.4, Article 16, Part 4, and this commission, Basankar Commission. Okay, just remember this commission. It would be enough. So with this, I think we have done all the important articles with respect to our examination. Look, this article per se is just giving a viewpoint in present context, but in our examination it does not go like that. It go like we have to see the big picture, okay, and this is not the big picture, this is a very minute picture, so we'll not be seeing it in that way. Okay, so with this we come to end of today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you like it. Fine. Okay, so friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Also, keep studying hard, keep following your dreams, and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard and follow your dreams.